Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to your second English lesson. You will be pleased to hear that you probably won't have to listen to me for too long for this one because you are carrying on with your cold task that you started yesterday. I will share the screen, and just like we would do in school, I will do a quick, almost catch up input, I suppose. Give you guys just a little bit of advice, but remember, we are writing a legend, and this is your interpretation of what a legend is, so that I can use that to help me with where our lessons are going, what you guys are already masters with, and what I can help you with, instead of putting all of my attention into something that you all might be very familiar with. So let me share my screen. And for your starter today, I'd like you to have a go at editing some of your work from yesterday. Now, we've talked a lot in school about how there are two different types of editing. One type of editing where you're going through and checking for mistakes, whether that means spellings, whether that's punctuation, anything that should be there that isn't, or that is there that shouldn't be. Make sure that you're going through and changing that. But there's also the other kind of editing where you are making things better, whether that's adding relative clauses, fronted adverbials, maybe it is changing boring words for more interesting words, maybe it's using a thesaurus. So try to make sure that you are getting both of those types of editing in, and that you're not just going through and looking for things that are wrong. Remember, there's no such thing as a perfect piece of writing. So everybody has something that they can improve on with their work. If you're not sure about where you can make improvements, then please feel free to email me and ask, because I will try to spot things that you could add, or try to spot some words that you could change, or I can give you some tips about where you might want to make those improvements. And I might have done that in the feedback to you already. So that's your starter to go through, reread your work from yesterday and edit. So make corrections and make improvements. Okay, so on to today's main lesson. So we talked yesterday about what you think a legend is. Now, I'm not going to give too much away at the moment because this is a cold task. This is the task that we start all of our writing units with, where you guys have a go at writing freely what you think a legend is. So have a think about that word. Think about what you've written so far, and just think, okay, is my story what I think a legend is still, or have I got carried away with something else? And we talked about the 5 key parts of a story yesterday. We should have written our introduction, where we introduce our characters, our setting, our time, and the build up, where we build up to that problem. So today we're going to finish that story off with the problem, the resolution, and the ending. And at the end, I've got a briefing about what each one needs to cover. We talked yesterday as well about why we write a cold task. It might seem strange with limited input, but it's so that the input that I give afterwards can be really targeted to what people need. So today we're going to write the problem, the resolution, and the ending. The problem should have something going wrong in your legend, talking about how it affects the characters. Now, this is the exciting part of your story. This is the pinnacle of your story. So your problem shouldn't just be and they got stuck in the cave. You need to talk about how it happened. You need to build that tension. Use a variety of sentence lengths to try to build it up, draw the reader in, make them desperate to know what happens next. And how does it affect your characters? Use show, don't tell to show how the characters are feeling, how they respond to it, how they react. The resolution is, how is the problem resolved? Is it resolved with the first thing that they try, or do they have to try a couple of different things? What happens to your characters? Do they escape without a mark on them? Do they come out and are they shaking? Do they have to battle their way through? All of that depends on what has happened at the start of your story. And then at the ending, trying to keep the ending and the resolution separate can be quite tricky. The resolution is how the problem is solved, and then the ending is what happens after that. So almost imagining you're setting your story up for a sequel. What happens after the problem's resolved? How do the characters change? How does their experience affect their personalities or affect anything about them? And what do they learn from the situation? So I'm really looking forward to seeing these, whether you send them all to me all in one go, or whether you're sending them to me in 2 parts. If you need any advice or anything to help, please feel free to drop me an email and ask about that as well. I'm at my email pretty much the whole time, so I can help wherever I can. You're not bothering me, trust me. It's worth you emailing me so that I can help as much as possible. But I hope you enjoy writing this. And then tomorrow, I'm going to introduce you to a couple of examples of legends, which you'll be able to read through, and our legend toolkit that you will be able to use.